Do you have a story to share with the world? Of course you do. We all have stories to share. An Anchor podcast allows you to share your interests in a way that connects to others all across the globe. If you have been considering starting your own podcast and don't know where to begin, Anchor makes it easy to record, edit, and publish with the click of a button. You can even add music. Whether it's crime dramas, self-improvement, paranormal adventures, or tips about parenting, you too can share your unique imprint on the world. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. You've got this. I believe in you. Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tools and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively.
My name is Tanya, and I help people tap into their inner healer naturally and intuitively. So last week I posted a video on how to raise your vibration, and I've been getting some questions and comments from some clients about once they start raising their vibration, what are some signs to show them that that's actually truly happening. So I thought I would go over 3 tips on letting you know when you are actually successfully raising your vibration. For me, when I began focusing on my energy and raising my vibration, it wasn't the smoothest ride. It was actually quite bumpy when I started down that journey of healing. And the very first thing that I noticed when I started to raise my vibration is that I began losing friends. And I know that that sounds like a really hard thing to go through. It really was when I was going through it, but I had to have a much more broader perspective on it because I did, at first take it really, really hard, but I also had to kind of step back and realize that there was a reason why I was taking these steps to raise my vibration, because I wanted to be a better version of myself, because where I was at when I started on this healing journey was not in a good place. I was working in a hospital, and I was around a lot of people who were very, very negative. And, just being in a hospital setting alone can have a really low vibration because, a lot of people come into hospitals because they're sick, and then unfortunately they end up dying there. So a lot of the people that I was working with were taking on a lot of that energy, and it was really hard. I mean, it's really hard not to pick up a lot of that negative energy. So it's, not against those people, because I was right there with them. I was right there kind of feeding off of that negative energy, and I was having a really hard time because I knew in my soul that that was not in alignment with who I was, and I was having a really hard time getting over it. So that was one of the things I noticed the most, is my friends started to drop like flies. And I kind of had to put it in perspective because, maybe some of those friends weren't, meant to be in my life, or they were only meant to be in my life for a certain portion of it, to get through certain challenges or barriers. And it doesn't mean that those people are going to be out of my life forever. As I began to raise my vibration, they can either do one of 2 things. They can, take a look at themselves and begin to raise their vibration too, which will then, keep you guys on the same level or the same wavelength. Or they kind of question, what are you doing? And I'm not ready to change. So they kind of repel you because they don't understand what you're going through. And the universe is all about energy. So if you are not vibrating at the same frequency, then naturally you are not going to attract. So as I began to raise my vibe, some of my friends raised their vibe with me, and some of my friends didn't. And like I said, it doesn't mean that they're going to be completely out of my life forever. Maybe they just aren't ready to make those decisions to look inward and to start healing yet. Doesn't mean that they won't be down the road. And at that point, we could be back on the same vibration again. So if you're experiencing this, then don't get, ill-hearted about it, I guess, because it is a natural process when you begin to focus inwardly and to start doing some more self-care and self-help routines. The second thing that I began to notice when I started to work on raising my vibration was that my energy got super sensitive. So working in a hospital setting, just walking around the hospital, I was picking up on everyone's energy. I could feel pain and suffering and sadness and sorrow and anger and frustration. And by the end of the day, I was drained. I was absolutely exhausted. So Me personally, I had to pull myself out of that situation. I had been working in that setting for nearly 15 years, so it was really hard for me to transition out of it. But once I did, it was one of the best things I had ever done for myself. I am so much more relaxed, less stress, and I have a little bit more control over the energy that I'm putting myself into. So that was a really positive thing for me. So you may notice that as you begin to work on yourself and your inner healing, you will become much more sensitive to the energies around you. The third thing that I noticed that was pretty significant is what's called synchronicity. So synchronicities are is a way that the universe communicates with us. And the more I started to raise my vibration and change my frequency, I began to notice coincidences that were happening in my life, like certain number patterns I'd see all the time. Like I would look at the clock every hour and it would be 7:44, 8:44, 9:44, 10:44, and then I'd drive around and I would see license plates with Y44, W44, B44, and then I'd see the street signs that would say, State Road 44, and then I would look at my phone and it would say 44%, but 44 wasn't just the first one I saw. I used to see 1111 a lot, and I would see 22, and those were some things that were starting to make me question. So I started to look it up and realized that as you begin to raise your vibration, you start to experience more synchronicities. And that's basically the way that the universe communicates with you to say, hey, Tanya, you're on the right path. Keep doing a good job. Keep raising your vibration and keep focusing on yourself and going inside and healing, inside of you versus looking outside of you to heal. So if you're experiencing those synchronicities, then take that as a positive sign that you are effectively raising your vibration. So these were just 3 things that I noticed. I know that there's probably a lot more. So if you've had some other ways that you've noticed that you were effectively raising your vibration, then I'd love to hear them.
You deserve to navigate your life as an empath in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT Tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.thesoulcafe.org.